Good morning, everyone. So, as in the last module 8, we have completed basics, settings, and configuration of group policies, Windows group policy. So, today we will be working with advanced group policy, which is related to Windows Server Security Group Policy, that how you should configure security settings on server or on server resources or on client computers using group policy. So these are the modules overview what we are going to cover in this lesson. So here this is very much important to know who is working as an administrator in the company. Like these are some best practice to increase securities in your organization. Like always run security updates on your server. Always configure privilege settings for the users. Always create separate administrative accounts in your organization. If you have 5 administrators in your organization, always create separate 5 admin accounts and you can give them their own access. Don't share the single username and password to configure the system. If you'll do single username and password, means if you'll share the single username and password to other admin, you will not recognize that who has access at what time and what he has configured the server, because you're using a single username and password. That's why if you want to analyze your server configuration, monitoring kinds of thing, then you need to create separate administrative account and you need to share with your sub administrator or junior administrator of your company. Always try to restrict administrator console sign in, right? Because many hackers, they try to access console and they try to hack the system, but this is the different part you will come to know when we will work on server core configuration. Always try to restrict physical access to the normal users. Physical access means they cannot come to server room and they penetrate your server. So always secure your physical access. Many people think about logical security, but they don't think about physical security. Physical security is also most important part of your enterprise security. Now, if I'm talking about some kind of user rights, that okay, what type of user right I should configure in my organization. So there are two type of user right. One is privilege and one is login right. Privilege means what type of privilege you have on this local server. That okay, once you log in on this local server, or privilege you can say if you am talking about forest wide, all forest wide server. So privilege means okay, on all server or in this forest you have this type of privilege, means you are the sub administrator, or if you are the group administrator, maybe you are the backup administrator, you are the account administrator. So these type of privilege you have in your forest. Now what is login rights? Login rights define the local rights. Okay, here I can write here. Login right define local computer right. Computer. Okay. Privilege is related to forest rights. Okay, it's related to forest level. Okay. Now we are working for the some details of some common user rights. So you know that by default all the users of the organizations, they are authorized to add their own workstation to this domain. Normally the local users are, or domain users you can say, by default domain users are not locally login allowed on the organization. But if you want to assign some rights to some users, that okay, you can come to login on the server to configure few things. So you can, just for common rights, I'm not telling that you should assign this one, it depends on your situation what you, because if you'll allow normal users to log in on the server, this is also not correct. So remember in the last class we have installed Windows administrative tool. So you can install that administrative tool on client system and then he give them privilege, then he can configure your server from his own client system. No need to log in on the server. If you want to run some kind of remote management in your organization, so by default users are not authorized to access server remotely, so you need to give them remote authentication login access. If you want to assign some specific user to take the backup files and restore the directories in your on your server, so you need to assign this backup files and directories authentication a privilege. By default, no one is authorized to change the system date and time, but if you want, you can authorize some users. That see, there are multiple jobs for the administrator on server, so it doesn't mean that you will call administrator to change the system time on your system, maybe if you have a time problem. So administrator will refuse this one, because administrator is not only for the changing for system date and time, but this is also one task. So what administrator do? Administrator gives some few rights to some junior administrator to configure these tasks. Okay, so yeah, I'm telling about, like, you think as administrator, so you will give these permissions, these privileges to a junior administrator. Force, by default, like, see, force shutdown, like if you will come here, I can show you here. See this, I'm with HR1. Let me log in here. If you will come here, and if you'll click here, see, by default you have shutdown, sleep, restart option, right? If you'll click on shutdown, see, you have option to shut down the computer. But as a network administrator, you can say, okay, nobody can shut down, normal user cannot shut down the computer. You can log off, but you cannot shut down. You can provide these kind of permissions also, or you can forcefully shut down any computer from a remote location. Maybe you want to shut down some computer which is Windows 1 or some other computer from your server, or from any remote location. You can also provide this type of authentication. Okay, this is the shutdown system which we have done now. Okay, so here are few configurations, and this is the very much important task here. You can see here, configure user accounts control settings. So this is very important task for the administrator. See how user maybe, okay, let's, I think I restarted this machine. Okay, okay, no, okay, let it start this one, then I'll explain you what is UAC, user account control settings. So once the system restarted, I'm going to log in here. Okay, so once you log in here, I can show you that user account control settings. Open your computer, or maybe you have some software, maybe you logged in with HR1 account and you came to computer. And you connected your flash drive here in this computer. Okay, so when you connected your flash drive and you tried to install some software, see, so you will be prompt for this user account control setting wizard. And see why Microsoft has created this one. This is used for, see, I'm a user, I'm a normal user, right? So how I will come to know that do I am authorized to install this software or I'm not authorized to install this software? So user account control setting features is used to prompt the user for administrative credential to run that required task, and they need permission to run that task. So user will come to know, okay, no, I don't have authentication to run this task or to run this application, so I need user administrative credential. So he will contact to administrator, or he will close that application if administrator will not allow him. So user account control settings are very important, and do not disable this user account control settings. Okay, in future videos or in future lesson, if I'll have time, I'll show you how to disable user account control setting, but by default you don't need to enable user account control setting wizard, right? If you will disable this one, user will not know that, okay, do I am able to run this task or not, right? So automatically when he will see this one, that okay, no, I am not able to run this operation or this application or this task, right? So he need administrative credential. So if he have administrative credential, he will use. If he doesn't have, so if he will try to use his own local account, he will try to run that one. So he will get error again that no, you are not authorized user to run this application. So user account control setting is used for those type of, what you can say, message and the logs. And this user account control settings will send the logs to server that okay, this user has tried to install this application at this time, but automatically servers will not generate the logs, right? For that you need to enable the auditing, enable the logs. Okay, so let us see how to enable the security logs on the server. So let's come on the server. So maybe I want that anytime which HR department, if you do any kind of configuration or any kind of uh, settings, any kind of configuration, so please create a logs for that HR department. So I'll come to group policy management here. I'll come here to this HR department. Let me delete this log. This HR department, create a new GPO. I can say here audit policy. In audit policy, you can right click and click on edit, and then come to computer configuration policies, then go to Windows settings, security settings, local policies, and in local policies you can come here to audit policy. So in audit policy, what type of audit policy you want to enable? See, by default the auditing policies are not enabled for the users, so you have to enable for that HR department. So any user who belongs to HR department, any type of activities they will do related to this event logs, so administrator will get those logs in his log view console. So let me define all these logs. So I can come here, audit log, just enable it, successful, failure, all, to see the logs, and it is very much important, you need to define it. So what is saying here, so you can see audit account log on event. So you can give me the logs if the user is successful logged in the system or maybe failure. Account management, okay, if user is trying to change the password or update his account, you give me the logs for this one. Audit directory service access, maybe how many times user has access active directory for his own resource accessing. Audit login events, okay. Then audit object class, okay, what type of object he is. Audit policy change, do according to the policy what you have assigned to him, any kind of group policy, do he is trying to change it. Okay, now audit policy use, so whatever group policy you have assigned him, do he is trying to use it, and when he is using it, do the use is successful or failure, because all is related to credential. Okay, now audit process tracking. Process tracking means, do he is maybe he is trying to access any applications, okay, or any kind of service like DNS, DHCP, Telnet, HTTP, alright. So for that you can enable audit system event. This is related to the local login system when he is try to log in on the local system like window 1, like for computer auditing you can say. Now what you do, you log off. Here also come on this system. After applying the group policy, close this one, update the group policy. Now come to HR1, login. Okay, so once he logged in, what you do, log off again just to refresh the policy. And you know it's a computer policy, so let me restart it, so instead of getting problem again, so let me restart it. Okay, so once the system is restarted, now we are going to log in here. So the first time I'll log in with the wrong username and password just to create a log. Okay, and then I'll put correct username and password. And then we'll try to install some software. So I connected my flash drive here on this system, and when we have created a log, now we are running and trying to install some applications. Okay, so these type of activities what normal user is doing it. So when he is configuring these type of activities on his system, okay, so his system will send log to server. So where server will get the logs details? So when he will come here and he will click on start, and he will come here to event viewer. If you are not getting event viewer here, no problem, you just type event, automatically event viewer will come. Open that event viewer. In this event viewer, if you will come here to Windows logs, security logs, okay, here we are just getting few information, system logs. Okay, here you will get those logs. Here you are not getting it, it will come because sending logs takes some time. See this login failure, a directory service access. Okay, you can see here login Kerberos authentication means active directory authentication is successful for the user. Okay, here see this, these type of logs will be generated by administrator here. Okay, so on here you will get in security. Okay, this is the application access. So what type of applications which you have installed on your server and client is accessing. So in security you will get the logs that okay, which user has access at what time. You can see here, let me open log off, open it. So you can say here the user domain is AST, okay, and the computer name is Yaoundé DC1, okay. He logged off at this that time. The login is successful, log off was successful, okay. And then, so these type of logs is there, you can find out some. In some logs you will find the username also. You can see here the IP address of the computer who is trying to access. So here you are only getting, right now you are only getting the local computer logs. This logs will, it will send to server. It takes some time, just if you refresh this one, okay. So it will come after some time. It's not that immediately it doesn't come here, okay. So let us move, but you monitor later, okay. Let us move to another level of group policy, which is related to again account policies, okay. But this is done, this policy of audit policy, you have enabled the audit policy, you have configured. And here audit policy take times to update. So when you it update, you can see that, okay, HR1 he tried to access the computer with the wrong username and password, and this is the date and time. And in source you will come to know that, okay, what computer he has used to access that to server with the wrong username and password, okay. Now we are talking about some kind of configuring user account password policy, okay. So we have many things in related to account password policy, account lockout policy, okay, domain access policy, okay. So let's just work about account lockout, password policy first. What is password policy? So password policy is that if I am here on with HR1, right, and let me create one user, I think, okay, let's create one user in HR department. Let's work with the new user. Active Directory users in computer. And here in the HR department we will be creating one new user, HR3. Next, 123 at IST. Okay, remove this option, no problem. Next and finish. So when this HR3 will log in from this computer, I'm just putting some wrong username and password again just to create a log, but we'll verify that log later. See, password policy is related to what type of password you can keep in your system. That comes under password policy. So maybe you have seen that you have logged in here with HR3 user. So here you have logged in with HR3. So I'm just bringing some desktop icon just to verify that the username. So we came here with the HR3 here. So HR3, if he is trying to change his password, see right now the password what he is using 123 at IST, who has given that password? Administrator has given that password to him. But now if he is trying to change his password, so when he will click on this, he is getting change password. See, his old password is 123 at IIHT. His new password he is trying, new password is trying 123456 7, or you can say 123 at IIHT 1, 123 at IIHT 1, right? See, unable to update the password because of the password complexity requirement and the password policy requirement. If he is trying to put 123 at IIHT 1234567 1234567 right, so he is not able to change the password. Why he is not able to change the password? Because of the password policy running on this system. Okay, so if you want to change the password policy for the users, for the departments, so you have option. Now you can come here to server now. So now on server we are working with the password policy. So we have two options to change the password policy or to configure the password policy. One is we can change for entire domain, because the policy what we are running right now, that policy is running for all domain. If you come here, open this tools, group policy management, all forest you can say. Now you can come here, default domain policy, and in default domain policy, okay, if you can right click here and click on edit. Okay, okay, actually my system went off, so it's restarted. So let me start the server and log in again. So we'll go to the group policy, default domain policy. So click on tools, group policy management. Same here, we'll go to default domain policy, right click edit, and in this we'll come here to user configuration policies, sorry, not user configuration, computer configuration policies, window settings, security settings, security settings, and then in the security settings, if you will come here to account policies, and in account policies you have password policies. So in password policies you can see here you have 6 option, right? So I want to explain you what is the use of the 6 options. See here, Why? You can see here that when I tried to log in here with HR3, he is not able to change password, right? Why he is not able to change password? I can show you here one command. See, by default, any new user cannot change his password for 1 day. See this. After 1 day, he can change his password after 1 day. And if you want to verify more, I can come here, open command prompt, net user HR3, enter. See what is saying, that password is changeable, but on 6/2, and today is 6/1, so he cannot change password. But if you are talking about, okay, do HR1 can change password? Yes, password is changeable, and password he can change his password, because on like in May he was able to change password. So let's come here, do HR1 is able to change his password. So these all thing is managed by group policy settings, and by default there is one default group policy. Okay, so I can come here, log in with HR1. So when he logged in and now he is trying to change the password, he will come here to change password. So his old password is 123 at IIHT. His new password he is trying to put 1234566, not 123 at IIHT 1, 123 at the rate IIHT 1. And if he's trying to click, see this is the password which I changed, new password. And now if I'm trying to click OK, see, changing password is successfully changed, right? But it doesn't mean that he can change any password. He cannot change any password. He should change only the strong password. He cannot change with the like, see right now what is the old password, 123 at IIHT1, which is the new password. And now another new password, maybe he's trying to put another one like 123456789. Okay, like this password. And if he's trying to put, see, he's saying that no, this is not, this type of password you cannot use on your computer because it is not matching with the password policy of the system. And if you'll come here on the server, and you can see here what is the password policy. See, let me start. So enforce password history, right? Enforce password history means 24 password he can remember, means I cannot repeat the password. See, maybe, right, what is the password of this computer is 123 at IIST1. So maybe he's trying to put again, he's trying to put a old password 123 at IIST. So now 123 at IIHT1, which is the new current password. New password I'm using 123 IIHT, which is old password, which was the old password of the computer, right? And now if you are trying to open, change the password, no, you cannot change the password, right? Why? Because I'm running the password which is already in the history. So 24 password will be remembered by the computer in the history. So I cannot repeat the old password. I cannot use the old password. So how many old password your computer can restore in his mind? 24 passwords, right? So you can see here maximum password age means by default if I will not change the password, whatever administrator has given me or whatever I have changed it. So after 42 days my password will automatically expire, and I will get this prompt when I will try to log in. I'll get this prompt when I will try to log in. So I have to put old password, then I have to put new password, then I will be allowed to use my computer. Maximum password is means maximum after 1 day you can change the password. But see, you remember that we when we tried to log in with HR3 and we tried to change the password, we were not able to change it, right? I can show you again. Log in with HR3, password 123 at IST. And when HR3 is trying to change the password, even he's trying to change the password with the current setting complex password, like current password is 123 at IST, and the complex password he is using IST 123 at IST 1 123 at IST 1, like this password. Okay, in that condition also he is not able to change, because he is not authorized to change the password of the computer for 24 hours. Okay, so now if you want to change that policy, how you can change that policy? So I'll come on server. So this is the policy. So if you can open it, maximum password age, and if you put here 0 is okay. Like, see, he can change the password immediately. Okay, password length I can say 5, anything you can. This is the problem, complexity problem. So I'll say no, he can use any password, it doesn't need complexity requirement. Okay, and this password will be stored in the reversible encryption. This is of reversible, means the password will be stored into, like, suppose MS Paint. Password will be stored in reversible encryption, means maybe what is your current password. So my current password is 123. Okay, so maybe he will put 123 at IST is the password. But if you will enable, the password will be stored in reversible encryption. So it will store in your computer like this, right? Like I1 H2 I3 T at the rate, like this. So it will be stored in the computer as per reversible encryption. So maybe somebody can encrypt also, so he will not come to know that what is the correct password, because he will not know that whether I have used IST at the rate 123 or I have used some kind of at the rate 123 IST, right? So he will not know what type of password. That's why it is important when you are when you are working as a network administrator, you must enable this one. By default it is disabled. Okay, so now what we did here, we changed something in policies, and let us refresh the policy. So once the policy has been refreshed, I'll log off here, and then I will log in with HR3 and try to change the password, as because we have changed the passwords policies. So log in here with HR1, no, sorry, HR3 first. Okay, and now come here and try to change the password. Change the password. So old password is 123 at IHT, and the new password I'm giving 123456 123456. You can see here, and now I'm changing password, and you can see here the password is successfully changed. Why? Because I have changed something in the password policy. If you come here and if you type here cmd, and if you type here net user hr3, you can see here that, see, the password is changeable from today. But if you have seen that in the first command which I have given you here, so it was showing you that 2nd June I can change the password, but today I am able to change the password. Why? Because we have changed the password policy. But the problem is, this is the biggest problem. The problem is what? If we will configure the default policy setting, right? So this default setting will be applied for all of the user of your domain. How? Let's come here. Maybe I have one department here. Student department. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new student user. Okay, so now I'll come here and I will log off, and I will log in with that new user. Okay, so the new user is logged in now. After this, we'll change the password. Okay, so now you can see here that student 4 is logged into the system. Okay, now when this student 4 is trying to change the password, so what is his old password? Old password was 123 at IST. New password is putting 12345 1234545, and now when he is trying to click OK, see, he is able to change the password. But according to me, what is the problem here? The problem is, I wanted to change the policy for HR department, but when I change this one, right, when I change something in the default domain policies, right, it says that it is it has been changed for all of the forest. So you will say, no, 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 let's open the group policy, and you will say, okay, please go to default domain policy, edit it, and make it default. Policies, window settings, security settings, account policies, password policies, and here you will say, no, please make it default. So I'll come here, let me make it default, 7 character, password is minimum 1. So this is the one what you have make it default. You will say instead of changing the default policies, right, what we can come to HR department, and here we can create the policy, password policy. Okay, let's come here, let's create a GPO again. So we can say here password policy, and now we can add it here on HR department. Computer configuration, policies, window settings, security settings. In security settings you can come to account policies. Okay, so I'll come here to account policies, password policies, and now you will say okay, let us configure here new group policy. Okay, so now we are coming here, and let's enforce three password, three, remember, three password. Maximum password age will say like 10 days. Minimum we can define, minimum we can define 0 days, no problem, you can change the password. This password length and these things will be default, no problem. So let us update this one. Now what I am going to do, I'll create one new user in HR department, HR5, HR4. Okay, change the password, next, finish. So now we come here and log in with HR user. HR4. Okay, so here that user is logged in. So let me see in some desktop settings. Okay, so now you are with HR4. So now let's try to change the password. Change the password as per the policy what you have assigned. Let me log in here to show you the policy what you have assigned. Okay, so the policy what you said, he can change password today. So if you will come here, old password is 123 at IIHT, and the new password he can give 12345 6 12345 6. Okay, and now see, he is not able to change the password. Because why he is not able to change the password? Now come again here. Now see what is the problem. It's not a problem, it's part of overwriting the group policy. See, you have two group policy. Okay, close this group policy. We have two group policy. One is under HR department, which you have created newly, right? And one group policy is the default group policy, which is assigned by default with the server. So this default policy is the higher policy than this one. That's why this is lower policy and this is the higher policy. So higher policy is saying deny and the lower policy is saying allow. So this will also not work. See, I think you understood. See, if I change the default policy, so the default policy is only with the IIST. So all, when you change something in the default policy, so it will be applied on all the HR, all the departments, not only the HR department. So now you said, okay, let's create a separate policy for this one. So when you created a separate policy, so this policy has been overwritten by this default policy. So it is not working, right? Now what is the solution again? Okay, so the solution is, okay, let us delete this policy. So the solution is known as fine grained password policy for individual OU. Okay, so close this one. So I'll come again to, I'll explain you what is fine grained password policy. Okay, see, this is the fine grained password policy. Okay, so now we are going to, we want to apply some policies for the HROU, right? So let's come on tools, open Active Directory Administrative Center. Okay, so when the Active Directory Administrative Center open, you came to IST, you come to IST, and then which department? HR department. So click the HR department. Okay, okay, so now first come here IST, and then come here to system to create the policy, then we'll apply the policy on HR department. Okay, so come here on the system. In system you have to come here to password setting container, this one. Okay, click this one. So you are under password setting container. Okay, now here you come here, see this password setting, and click new password settings. So the new password settings what I want for HR department. So the password, so I'll say GPO for HR department, right? Preference, I'll say, okay, preference is 1 to whatever. Precedence, yes, like a priority of the enforce password. No, I don't want this one. Okay, remove this, all these passwords. See this, enforce maximum password length. No, I remove all the policies. Okay, I will say enforce pass maximum, remove this one. maximum password age, whatever you want. So right now I want to remove everything. Click. Now directly applied to, right? So I can apply, I can select a single user, I can select a single group, I can select, right? So if you want for the single user apply, you can see apply for the single user, right? Now what we can do here, if so, we have to come here to Active Directory. We have to create one group. Okay, and then we have to add all these users to that group. Add to a group, HR group. When we added, then we have to come here and we have to add that HR group here. Okay, see, HR group has been added here, and then click OK. Okay, and then close this one, update the policy, and once the policy has been updated, now what you do, you come here to the client computer, log off and log in. So now come here with and log in with HR4, and now try to change the password. So now I'll come here, change the password. So old password is 123 at IIHT. New password I am giving 123456. 123456. And now click on change. See, is able to change because I applied with the fine grained password policy. Now same thing, we'll see that do this policy has been applied to other department as well. We'll verify. So I think I created one student 4 or 3. Let's see. So I created student 4. Okay, so let me log in with student 4 and verify it that it is only based. So I'll come here, I'll log in with student 4. Why password is incorrect? 123 at I. Okay, I changed the password. What password I have given? 123 at IIHT. Okay, I think 123456. 123456. What password we have? 123456789. If he is not able to log in, I'll come here and I'll change the password from here. Right click, reset password, 123 at IIHT. 123 at IHT and remove this tick box. Okay, password has been updated, and now come here, then put 123 at IHT, enter. Okay, so when you logged in with the student 4 user, now let's change the password. So old password is 123 at IHT. The new password you are trying to put 123456. See, you are not able to change. So now password policy has been applied only to the specific department, HR department. It has not been applied to other departments. So that is known as password policy changing and fine grained password policy. Okay, so let me stop this video and I'll create another video for the same group policy, advanced group policy. Okay, thank you. If you have any kind of errors or confusion, okay, you have my WhatsApp number, you send me the error picture, or the any kind of confusion you have, you can ask message through message. Okay, okay, thank you.